This is the third part of Chapter 1, Laws of Motion. If you haven't watched the first two parts, please click on the link in the description box below. Hey, this video was made just for you. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Now we will see equations of motion using graphical method. Newton studied motion of an object and gave a set of three equations of motion. So Newton was a scientist who studied motion of objects and he gave three equations which we will study now. These relate the displacement, velocity, acceleration and time of an object moving along a straight line. So these equations are basically the different types of association of displacement, velocity, acceleration and time of object moving along a straight line. Suppose an object is in motion along a straight line with initial velocity u. So initial velocity is taken as u. It attains final velocity v. Final velocity is v in time t due to acceleration a. Its displacement is s. The three equations of motion can be written as v is equal to u plus at. This is the relationship between velocity and time. So v and u are velocity, acceleration is a and t is time. So this equation is the relation between velocity and time. S is equal to ut plus half at square. This is the relation between displacement and time. So here S is the displacement and t is the time. So that's why this relation is between displacement and time. V square is equal to u square plus 2as. This is the relation between displacement and velocity. Since s is the displacement and v is the velocity, this equation tells us the relation between velocity and displacement. So now we will see how each of these equations were derived. Let us try to obtain these equations by the graphical method. Equation describing the relation between velocity and time. Do you remember what the equation was that showed the relation between velocity and time? It was the first equation. V is equal to u plus at. So now we will see the derivation of this equation. The figure shows the change in velocity with time of a uniformly accelerated object. So, as we had seen earlier, y-axis had the velocity and x-axis has the time. And for a uniformly accelerated object, the graph was a straight line that was not parallel to the x-axis. So that's why it is this line over here, dB. So this d could be at 0 or it could have an initial velocity of a number. So therefore we will take that as u. The initial velocity of the object is u, that is also equal to od. The final velocity of the object is v, that is also equal to oc. So the final velocity, that is this point, is equal to v, and that v is equal to oc. The time t is oe. So the time taken for the object to reach this final velocity would be this time, and that would be equal to oe on the x-axis. Acceleration is equal to change in velocity upon time. So I hope you remember this formula. This was equal to final velocity minus initial velocity upon time t. So final velocity minus initial velocity upon time. Final velocity v on this line would be OC, that is from O to C, and initial velocity u would be OD. So when you substitute this, you would get OC minus OD upon time t. But if you see carefully, from OC, if we remove this part, that is OD, we would get CD. So therefore it would be CD upon time. And when you take time on the left hand side, we would get CD is equal to AT. Draw a line parallel to y-axis passing through B. So when you draw a line parallel to y-axis passing through B, you would get this line. This line
crosses x-axis at point E. And when you draw a line parallel to x-axis passing through D, you would get this line, and this line intersects with this line BE at point A. So if we see carefully, BE would be equal to BA plus AE. But BA is also equal to CD and AE is also equal to DO because these lines are parallel. So the distance between them would be the same. So when you use this and substitute it here, we would get V, which was the BE line, equal to CD plus OD. And as we had got earlier, CD was equal to 80 and OD is equal to U. So when you rearrange it, you would get V is equal to U plus 80. And this is the first equation of motion. Now let's see the equation describing the relation between displacement and time. And if you remember, this was the second equation, that is S is equal to ut plus half at square, where S was the displacement and t was the time. Let us suppose that an object in uniform acceleration a and it has covered the distance s within time t. From the graph, the distance covered by the object during time t is given by the area of quadrangle DOEB. So let's see how to derive this equation from this graph. If you remembered earlier, if you have to find the distance traveled by an object, you can also find it by taking the area under the curve. So in this case, it would be quadrangle DOEB. So if we find the area of this quadrangle, it would be equal to the distance traveled by the object in uniform acceleration. And how would we find the area of this quadrangle? We can find it using first getting the area of this rectangle, that is DOEA, and adding it to this right angle triangle, that is triangle DAB. So if you remember, to calculate the area of a rectangle, you have to do length into breadth. So it would be OE or DA, which is the length, into DO or AE, which is the breadth. And how would you find the area of a right angle triangle? We would get it by half into multiplying the sides that are making the right angled. So in this graph, it would be half into DA into AB. So they have used this and substituted the values to get this equation. That is, S is equal to AE into OE, which was the area of the rectangle, plus half into AB into DA, and this was the area of the triangle. But AE was equal to OD, which was equal to the value of U, and we will substitute it. AE was equal to U. OE is equal to time t. So when we substitute OE as time t, and this would be half into AB into DA. Now AB would be equal to CD, and if we see the derivation we did earlier, we got CD is equal to 80. So we will substitute that as well, where AB is equal to 80. And your DA would be equal to OE, which would equal to time t. So we will substitute DA as time t. And when you rearrange this and substitute the values, you would get S is equal to U into T plus half into 80 into T. But 80 into T would be equal to 80 square. So finally we would get Newton's second equation of motion, which is S is equal to UT plus half 80 square. So now we will see the derivation of the last equation, and that equation was describing the relation between displacement and velocity. And if you remember that equation, it was v square is equal to u square plus 2as. We have seen that from the graph, we can determine the distance covered by the object in time t from the area of the quadrangle DOEB. But DOEB is a trapezium, so we can use the formula for its area. So if we go to the previous graph, here we had seen that in order to calculate the distance that travelled by the object, we could find the area of DOEB, which was a quadrangle. So before we had found the area by first finding the area of this rectangle and adding it to the area of this triangle. But since DOEB is a trapezium, we can use the formula for area of a trapezium. So now we can find it directly, and if you remember, the area of a trapezium is half into sum of the lengths of the parallel sides into the distance between the parallel sides. So over here the parallel sides would be OD and BE, and the distance between the parallel sides would be OE. So here OD would also be U. So if an OE would be time t. So if we substitute this, we would get half into OD plus BE into OE. So when you substitute it finally, you get S is equal to half into U plus V into t. But acceleration is equal to final velocity minus initial velocity upon time t. So if we substitute this in this t, we would get t is equal to v minus u upon a. So therefore S is equal to half into u plus v into, now we have substituted the t, so v minus u upon a. So when you take v minus u together, it would be S is equal to v plus u, v minus u upon 2a. And as we know earlier, a plus b and a minus b is equal to a square plus b square. So using this algebraic equation, we would finally get Newton's third equation of motion, that is v square is equal to u square plus 2as. Always remember, the velocity of an accelerated object changes with time. So this was basically the definition of acceleration, which was change in velocity per unit time. So the change in velocity can be due to change in direction or magnitude of the velocity, or both. So change in direction, that is, if the object changes its direction, that will have an effect on the change in velocity. Or the magnitude, that is how fast the velocity of the object is. So if the speed or velocity changes, that will also cause a change in velocity. Or both, that is if the object changes the direction as well as the magnitude of the velocity. So both these things can cause change in velocity. Uniform circular motion is our next topic. So now all this while we have been seeing the motion of an object in a straight line, but now we will study about circular motion. Let's try this. Observe the tip of a second hand of a clock. What can you say about its velocity and speed? So in a clock, you have the hour hand, the minute hand and the second hand. So they are asking about the second hand of the clock. So that second hand, every second it moves ahead and it completes one circular motion in 1 minute, that is 60 seconds. The speed of the tip is constant because speed does not depend on the direction of motion, but the direction of its displacement, and therefore its velocity is constantly changing. So since speed does not depend on the direction but velocity depends on the direction, and because the direction of the second hand is constantly changing, therefore its velocity is also constantly changing. As the tip is moving along a circular path, its motion is called uniform circular motion. It's called uniform circular motion because every second it travels equal amounts of distance, and since this motion is in circular, that's why it's called uniform circular motion.
For the answers to this exercise and other free worksheets, please go to jkacademypro.com. This is the end of the fourth part. If you want to watch the fifth part, please click on the link in the description box below.